How you doing? Wonderful. How about you? Actually, I got a headache and I need more caffeine. That's because someone says you're fat, out of shape, unhealthy, also sleep deprived too. This video is called Buy the Heavy. It's a philosophy of getting a camera. Here we have an old, it's not old, 2012 Nikon D4. Here we have Fuji's flagship. Well, the GFX is also a flagship. I didn't bring that out here, but that was recently came out. $1,600 camera. When this came out, it was over $6,000. These typically average $2,000 now. Nikon D4 is actually not a best purchase because it's rather insanely expensive. There's a reason why I never make videos talking about or reviewing Nikon's dinky cameras that come out. And while I absolutely love the hell out of Fujifilm, I generally don't review like their XE3 that came out. When I've had a couple XE1s. This is a great camera, and I've actually tested the XE3. The XT20 is absolutely incredible. That would be like Fujifilm's dinky camera, although not really. The XT20 is absolutely incredible. I named that the best value for purchase right before Christmas, so don't take me too seriously on that. But the reason I don't actually review like a cheaper, not to say you can't make incredible, wonderful images in them, out of them, D3000, D5000 series Nikon cameras, nor some of the much cheaper versions like the XA series Fujifilm, or the XE series, which I generally don't talk about, is because I actually don't generally believe in purchasing those, and there's several valid reasons for that, completely outside of my subjective beliefs, which of course are not helpful to you unless they're incredibly logical and intelligently based. And that is that the flagship cameras like this, and I know this is a 2012 camera, of course Fujifilm's going to announce the X-T3 later this year for release, God knows when, you know, later this year or beginning of next year. These hold, number one, they hold their value longer. I generally don't believe in buying the cheaper cameras because they're easily and quickly outclassed, and their resale value is not good. When someone buys a camera like that, of course, the most important thing to invest in is lighting and your glass. I mean, that's the stuff that actually holds its value, obviously so, depending on how much you pay for it and where you buy it from, obviously so, but you know, you're holding your... This is also the thing that actually disturbs me, like when I'm driving on the road. The same thing applies to cars that applies to camera. I've never bought a new car in my life. If I was really rich, I'd just, you know, maybe buy a Lamborghini or a Rolls Royce or something, right? I know what's the latest car is really awesome, like a Bentley or, you know, the really expensive, nice... Why does someone, like say if they have $10,000, why does someone like buy a brand new Chevy? I hate American-made cars because they're so poorly made. You know, love the United States, hate Americans don't make anything anymore, hardly. Why would somebody buy like a new piece of crap Chevy? Dodge, Ford, oh, people are going to really hate me. They just don't last. They rust so easy. It's like you have an option. You got $10,000 to spend on a car. You could either buy this really cool, it's got a couple dings in it. Well, you know, it's a bunch of quite a few scratches. Here's a Mercedes for $10,000, rolling style. Or you could buy this new Chevy. It's like, well, you know, the Chevy's new, it's got 0 miles on it, and the BMW, the Mercedes, whichever car you pick, you know, some sort of classy, awesome German Uber wonder car, right? Whatever makes you happy. Whichever one you think is the most trustworthy. Well, BMW, Mercedes, whatever. I think BMW stands for bust out my wallet, I was once told, because I've owned a BMW. And it always needed to be fixed, but it was really sexy. And you see, that Mercedes, that BMW that's got some dings and dents in it, that will not only make you happier, it's a safer car, it's a better made car, but it'll have, you know, you can roll in style in it for quite a few years and you're not really end up with hardly any depreciation. As soon as you take that piece of crap Chevy or Ford off the parking lot, boom! You know, it still might look brand new, but its value is gone in the dirt. You know, unless you're super rich, and if you're super rich, you're not going to buy a dinky camera anyway, right? Unless you want something really small for travel, and then it's logical and understandable. Why the hell would you buy that? You know? It's like, well, I only have $1,000 to spend on a camera. It's like, I know you need glass too. A camera is an utterly useless freaking tool without a freaking lens, right? Or lighting. which is the most important thing. The most important thing is actually your mind, then lighting, then the lens, then the camera. That's actually the order of importance. Lighting, well, excuse me, mind, lens. I'll get it right eventually, damn it. Wham! Mind, lighting, lens, then camera. Camera is fourth on the scale of importance. I eventually got it right there. I'll edit that out later. Not enough coffee, apparently. I know people have a budget and they have to buy a lens, but, you know, buy something used that's actually will make you happy. You see, the thing is, because photography, digital photography, you know, other than some frou-frou and BS features that are added to cameras, really hasn't changed much in many, many years. Like Nikon D3, 2008. That's 10 years ago. Nikon D3, this camera underneath this. I still got a few Nikon D3s. Awesome camera. It's like, which would you rather have for, right now D3 is averaging about $700. Damn, that's cheap. It used to be a $6,000 camera. Well, yeah, but it's made in 2008. It's been outclassed. Really? Really? No, it hasn't. This is valid for wedding photography, anything else. You just don't have the ability to do heavy cropping with it since it's 12 megapixel camera, but it's amazing. This is 16 megapixel. These will make you much happier. Buying a used D4 is a little bit overpriced. Like a Nikon D800E is actually top value for a Nikon. You can't say that's a flagship camera from a Nikon, but I mean, it was at the time, and it still really is. So some of the best shooters, including my buddy, Benjamin Kanarek, supermodel and haute couture fashion photographer. You know, he shoots with a Nikon and a Fujifilm, but he shoots with a Nikon D800. That camera right now is like $1,100. Very soon to be $1,000. I mean, $1,000 will get you like a crummy Nikon camera and like a plastic turd lens. Just, you know, unless you got a ton of money, which you're not going to buy those cameras anyway, you're going to go out and buy a brand new D850 and who knows what the hell. D5 sucks, actually. Don't buy the Ford, the new Chevy, the new what's another American-made piece of junk car? Ford, Chevy. What's another one? I don't know cars very well. Ford, Chevy, Cadillac. Is Cadillac still in business? They still making those junk boxes? I'm gonna make a lot of people hate me in this video. Why? It's like, you know, the used Mercedes and BMW, even it's got some dents and some scratches, some key marks on it, that's still going to hold its value. It's safer, it's better made. I know it doesn't, you know, it's the same thing with cameras. Really, the analogies are very similar. It's like, well, this is a camera from nearly 7 years ago. How good is it? Are you kidding me? This camera's the tits. Same thing with the XT2. Of course, the XT2 hasn't been out for that long. Well, it has. I mean, like a year or two down the road, it's like, what would you rather buy? You know, this. I'll take an older camera that initially was pretty damn expensive over a new camera at the same price. It's like, you know, I got, let's say, like a couple years down the road, the Fujifilm XT2 is like $800. Let's just say that. I don't know, $800-900 a few years down the road. It's like, what would you rather buy? A new dinky with some new frou-frou BS features that nobody ever uses, or the XT2? It's like, I'll take the used XT2 with a few miles on it, please. Thank you so much. Really, my philosophy on cameras is buy the heavy. You know, buy the used Mercedes, the used BMW with the dents and dings and, you know, like a dog pee stain in the back seat, or the baby barfed on the back seat. You know, it's like, it's a Mercedes. It's a BMW. What's another classy, awesome car? Well, Jaguar was always a very unreliable car. What's another one? What's another German perfection or European perfection car that's really classy? It's like it gets better with age. You know what does not get better with age? Here's a really important point. The last point I'm going to leave you with. What does not get better with age? This. You see, this is almost like a fine wine. It's like, oh my god, a D4. I'll shoot with that any day. Like every professional photographer that likes Nikon, like, oh, that camera is awesome. Screw it, I'll shoot with that camera any day. It's like a fine wine. What doesn't get better with age is a dinky. It's like, now say this camera is 6 years old, okay? You know what a 6-year-old dinky? If I had a 6-year-old dinky Nikon, You know what I mean by a dinky? One of the cheap series. A 6-year-old dinky sitting here. And this 6-year-old Nikon D4, the dinky has already made its way to the trash bin, or is in the bottom drawer of Grandma's dresser drawer with the mothballs. No one gives a crap about it. No one remembers it. No one gives a shit about it. But the D4 is like, oh yeah. Classic perfection remains that way. It ages really well. Kind of like Cindy Crawford. Really good flagship cameras age like Cindy Crawford, because like the older Cindy Crawford gets, the younger she looks. It's like pictures from Cindy Crawford from 25 years ago. That broad must have made a deal with Satan, because the older she gets, the younger she looks. And really, when it comes to like, see, both of these cameras are the awesome tatas. You know, this is kind of my plea of like, buy a used dinky. Buy a used flagship. Excuse me, not had enough coffee today. Wham! Buy a used flagship. XT2, D4, D4 is a little high, D810, D800E, D810, Nikon D3S. D3S is a really good value camera, and it's got an amazing buffer. There are plenty of people today, for example, that have all the crap money, it's money, I got money. I'm a professional working photographer. I'm talking about these people. They could go out and buy the latest, greatest camera, and it's like they're still using a Nikon D3S and a Nikon D4. And people ask them, say, "Why? You could use any camera you want. You got like, you're a professional working photographer. You got, you can write your camera off on your taxes. Why didn't you go out and buy the latest, greatest? Like, because this stuff is the shit right here." It's like, yeah, but that's a 6-year-old camera. Like, so man, just nails it every time. That's what these are. And when you actually buy a more expensive camera like this, used, they hold their value. And like I said, this is so true, whether it be Nikon or Canon. 6-year-old D4 and a 6-year-old dinky. The professional photographer or any other photographer is like, oh yeah, I remember this camera, I loved it so much, I never should have got rid of it. Or I still have mine, I love it to death, I'll never get rid of it. The dinky camera, who gives a crap? Throw it in the trash, doorstop, stick it in the toilet. Thank you so much for watching. This was my philosophy on a dinky versus flagship. And it really is only partially subjective. I mean, it's based on an enormous amount of experience of resale value, use, a lot of different things. It's not like some sort of love thing where like, I love the old flagships. It's like, no. These hold their value better. People like them better. They hold their effectiveness. They are kind of like the John Glenn. Some people age poorly. Like John Glenn was senator, and he went back into space like when he was 65 years old. That old dude just kept rocking it right all the way to the grave. That's what a flagship camera does. The dinkies by any camera manufacturer never do that. They never do. That's actually what you're paying for, and it's actually worth it. Yeah, I said it. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye. If you like these videos, always click the link below. Tell me to jump off a cliff. Thank you for watching. Namaste.